All right, this is James Pelton, and I am here with RJ, or 0xRJ is his name. And appreciate you joining me here today as we kind of wait for the audience to hop on. If you could please hit the like button. If you want to share this like on Twitter or whatever, that would be just great. CryptoTube says, is anyone else getting sick of AMAs? And the answer is no. Daniel says no, especially when my money is involved. And so I'm kind of trying to move my channel more to live AMAs, and then my recorded videos are more just like presentations because I love to get the audience involved and things like that. So please do hit the like button. If you have questions as we go or topics that you want us to discuss, ask them, and we'll get to what we can here. So RJ, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you reaching out and for getting on here. Do you want to start by just introducing yourself and give a little bit of your background? I really don't know much about you at all. I've seen a couple of your videos, but let's kind of start there.
Yeah, not at all. So thank you for having me. My name is RJ. My background is in engineering and technology. It's about 15 years. And somewhere around like 2017, I kind of started wanting to break away from corporate America and kind of just have more free time to spend with people I want to hang out with, either friends or family. And so I started really getting in investing and real estate and stuff like that. And eventually I ended up landing myself in crypto last year when I got Dogecoin around when it was like starting around like 3 or 4 cents. It started hitting just mainstream media. So I had just purchased some Dogecoin because I was like, I feel so late to the game of crypto. Bitcoin was popping off and I was like, I'm just so late, but I want to get in, just get my feet wet kind of thing, and purchase some Dogecoin. I bought maybe $500, a thousand's worth, and at 3 cents. And when I saw it go all the way to 90 cents, it was the craziest thing I've ever like witnessed. I was so hyped. Everyone was going crazy, unlimited memes here and there. And then I ended up finding another project called Seifu, and I kind of got invested in that. And then eventually, come near November, someone told me about Drip and Strong Block. And when I looked at Drip at the first time, I was like, this doesn't look like something that would fit my style. I mean, at the current state at November, I was like, for all I knew, crypto was a buy and hold, where you purchase something that you believe in, and that eventually it would moon and make you multimillionaires, because we heard the story so many times. Never did I think that there was another space in crypto, in DeFi, that had passive income plays. It just blew my mind. It opened my mind. So I started doing some heavy research. I'm talking immerse myself in this new world called passive income plays around November. Did research on strong blocks, saw the lives it was changing. I was like, I need to get in on strong block. So I purchased my first node around December. And then the rest is history, man. It really did open my mind. It opened my eyes to the possibility of this DeFi space. And it's crazy to have these types of conversations with your normal friends, with your normal family, because they just don't understand. Mine don't, right? That's why I love talking shop with other content creators and other DeFi enthusiasts, because they understand. When you start saying, hey, I'm a farmer on the DeFi space, they're like, what are you talking about? So that's pretty much my background, man, in a nutshell. Started with engineering, and then got on the Dogecoin, and then found a project, and then it led me to passive income plays.
Okay, so we have a kind of similar story. Did you sell Dogecoin when it went way up, or
I
did
did
you hold?
not. I thought I was one of those people. I was like, this is gonna go ballistic and to the moon. My $500. I saw it when my $500 turned into, like, I want to say I saw my first comma in there. So it was like 1,000. I was like, this is crazy. And so I didn't sell at its all-time high. I was really enthusiastic about it, but somewhere eventually in there, I did sell around the 30-40 cent mark. So purchasing it at 3 cents, I still made a really good profit margin on it. But I wanted to really allocate my funds on things that I really started to believe in, and projects I believed in. So Dogecoin got my feet in the door. So I will forever be grateful for Dogecoin. It'll have a special place in my heart. But I started seeing other projects out there that really had potential to change lives, right? Passive income plays, really wealth generating plays. So I did sell Dogecoin, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm curious, where do you feel like we're at in the market? Like, do you feel like it seems like people are having a really hard time making money? Like, just projects are falling apart left and right. Do you think it's possible to make money in DeFi right now? What's your take on where the market's at?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I just released a video on it talking about it because I saw Crypto Casey release a video about how millionaires are made in bear markets. And my investing style really did come from value style investing, which is the same style as Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Yes, I understand they're really not advocates of the crypto space, but their teachings and their strategies can still be applied in crypto, which is finding a project or a company that you really like and you believe in, and you believe in the leadership, and making sure that this is a company that just won't that'll be around for a while. And so I believe that wealth transfer and millionaires really is created in bear markets, in markets like these, market conditions like this, where it's really bloody, it's really red, there's a lot of fear in the market. And one of the conversations I say all the time, and one of the things, the compasses I use, is Warren Buffett's saying, where he says, be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. And point in case was Dogecoin, right? When Dogecoin hit what, like 90 cents or something like that, there was so much greed and there was so much enthusiasm. And at the time, that's really the time you should really start taking profits. When there's a lot of fear in the market, that's when projects are on sale that you really believe in. And I'd like to ask you a little later what projects you really believe in this bear market. But I can say wholeheartedly that there are projects in my portfolio right now that is making me money in these market conditions. Now imagine when we inevitably hit that bull run, it's just going to be crazy. And so I really do believe that there are projects currently right now, and we can touch on them a little later when we start talking about our portfolio, that there's projects right now that can make you money, and people don't understand that. There's either people that are just really, they think it's too good to be true, or it's a scam. And then there's others that want to explore other opportunities, other possibilities. And those people that are taking that risk, that are really taking the time to immerse themselves in DeFi space, really learning the craft, there's a lot of people making money in these market conditions, right? What about you? I mean, I tune in absolutely to your show, James. So I know you're making money in these bear markets.
Yeah. Well, what I've found really helpful is, as we've gone to when we were in the bull market, like I remember back in October, any project, you could get into literally any project and you would make 2x. And it was so easy. It was so easy being a YouTuber, because it was literally like you put money into anything and it was just launch. Everything was launching all the time. And it really seemed like you couldn't lose. Like it was like, man, I'll just put money here, 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 and here. And as the market started to go down, we're starting to see, no, there are some projects that are going to stand the test of time. And there's some projects that will only work when the market's going up. And so I think it's going to take, for people who are newer to DeFi, which I'm actually fairly new to DeFi. I mean, the whole space is fairly new. So, I mean, everybody's kind of new. But it's taken a mindset shift to be like, okay, it's not going to be an every project is going to do great. It's going to be, what are long-term projects that I believe in? And you are going to see those start to come up to the top as the bear market continues, if it continues. So in some ways, I'm thankful for the bear market, because as it's going down, we're starting to see some things are starting to rise to the top. Some things are falling off very quickly, and then it shows you, okay, well, that's not a long-term play. That's not a long-term play. So yeah, I do believe it's possible to make money, but you have to really learn from your mistakes. So one thing that I've learned is diversification. It's never good to put all your money into one basket and be like, oh, that's going to be the winner. Just because none of us are fortune tellers, and you just don't, like my portfolio was probably 80% drip 2 months ago. And even drip, has kind of gone down as the markets have been down. And so what that's done is I'm making about the same amount of money I was 2 months ago, but it's only 30% drip now and 70% other stuff. So
yeah, I was the same way with Strong. I mean, I went in pretty hard on Strong. I'm talking maybe 20, 30,000 into strong. I was like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I was getting in around December. What was it, like $500 a token? And I was purchasing nodes like crazy. I was like, this is life changing. And just like you said, right, don't put everything in one basket. You learn fairly quickly, and you learn to adapt fairly quickly, that no project should be 100% of your allocation. You can be very bullish and very confident in one of the projects, but you still need to practice good investing strategies, and that's diversification. And if one fails, the others in your portfolio will pick up the slack, and that's the way it always should be. But I started the same way. I started with strong, went really heavy into strong. I'm talking like 90% into strong, and obviously that went down, and I was like, wow, that was eye-opening. Good thing I didn't like go balls to the wall and just take out mortgages on strong block. But with that being said, I want to make sure that, I ADD too hard. So I want to make sure that I do touch on this. I do really, really believe in the strong block team. David Moss is an absolute beast. His team of engineers, they have an amazing track record being a part of the EOS blockchain, Block One. These guys are engineers, they're creators. And so I really am bullish on it. Yes, they went from a migration from strong to stronger, but that just alleviated the sell pressure on the strong token and put it on the stronger token. They still need to work on their blockchain, which they're releasing. They're releasing certain things now, like the entangled nodes and stuff like that. But I really am bullish on them. I think things will start, like you had said, things will really start to differentiate themselves from others when projects like Strong release their strong chain and all the other nodes kind of just fall off. So
Yeah, and I've just I trust the team a lot. I think they've been slower moving than a lot of other DeFi things. But what that tells me is that they have a long-term vision. And so I'm trying not to get too stressed out about the short-term price action. And yeah, I'm thankful that I took a lot of profits when strong was high and did diversify it. And so yeah, I was making $600 or $700 a day off strong at one point. And then now, making hardly anything, but I was able to take that $600 or $700 a day and put it all into these different places. So I'm still doing okay, even though that's fallen off.
Yeah. I have about 20 strong nodes right now. So what I do is I just save up, because the gas fees are just so insane until they get into their stronger strong chain here. The gas fees are so insane. So I just save up all the way till the end of the month, just pay the gas fees once, claim it. And then I think I took profits for the month of April. It was around like $2,800, which I just reinvested in other projects. So
yeah,
we'll wait till they pop off.
Yes, totally. So Crypto DeFi Dad does have a good point. When you have so much money you guys have, it is very easy to talk and invest in any project you want. You need to give advice for investors that have only, 1,000K is actually a lot of money. That's $1 million. So I think you mean 1,000 to invest or less. Do you have any advice of how you would look at things differently if you only had $1,000 opposed to, starting with more?
Yeah. So in my journey, and I'd like to pick your brain a little bit as well and see what you think about this. Is you mentioned drip, right? We see other projects out here that allow you to take advantage of what Einstein calls the eighth wonder of the world, which is compounding interest. So if you only have $1,000, you have to start somewhere. Every single one of us started somewhere. And so if you have $1,000, find a project that you really, really like, whether that's drip. In my case, the number one project that I have that's really, really doing very well for me is Seifu. Find a project that you believe in, you like the leadership, you like what the company is trying to do, and that you think will be around for the long term. And it allows you to compound that $1,000, whether that's 1% every single day with drip, or that's 2.28% with Seifu, or even, if you're really feeling like a true degen, you can go for one of these minor games that does 8%, which I wouldn't recommend, but I would recommend something more tried and true like drip, which has been around since April of last year and has been paying 1% every single day to every single holder, or something like Seifu that's been paying 2.28% every single day. That's what I would recommend, right? Start somewhere. If you have $1,000, find a project you really love, something that's tested the test of time in DeFi, that is, a month, a year, that is a long time to survive in the DeFi space. So find something that you really like, it survived the test of time, and just put your 1,000 in there and keep compounding, right? I know sometimes, even as a day trader, the most difficult thing to do is to take profits. We all just want to compound all the time. But like you said, we need to start taking profits at some point and start recouping and taking the risk off the table. So that would be my answer. Find a project that allows you to compound the $1,000.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Another thing I often see people do, that I just want to share my screen here real quick, but I see a lot of people often chase the green. So like what they'll do is they'll hop on and they'll say, oh, okay, oh, Universe is up 18%. And then they go buy Universe, which definitely don't do that. I'm taking that out of my watch list. Actually, they're gone. But they see, okay, I'm going to go buy these projects that are up today, when it's actually kind of the opposite of how you want to be thinking through things. You want to be, you almost, maybe not this, but you almost want to be looking, hey, what's down, but I believe in the future of, and start going that direction instead. And I often, emotionally, we want to buy things that are up. So we're always looking up here for what's up right now. And sometimes that's just not the right way to be thinking through it. And I see that happen a lot to myself as well.
Yeah, investing psychology is something that I'm actually really passionate about because, like I said, I'm an investor at heart, and I did day trade as well. And I said this in my last video, that you can learn day trading. James, you can learn day trading. You'll just purchase a book that's 250 pages. You'll learn all the strategies. But then right next to the day trading strategy book, you'll have a 450-page book on day trading psychology, double or triple the thickness of a strategy book, because it really is all about emotion. It's all about psychology, and it's very important. That's why Warren Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful, because when people are fearful, they're selling when they shouldn't be selling, right? These markets have a natural cycle to them. When it's low, that's where the simple saying buy low, sell high comes from. But not a lot of people want to do that. All they want to do is buy high, sell low. And if it was so easy, everyone would do it. But that's where you need to discipline yourself and really just implement those strategies, those sayings that we hear all the time. Buy low, sell high. Be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are greedy. I know it's difficult. When everyone is screaming bloody murder, the markets are all red, it's easy to succumb to those fears and those emotions, those very real human emotions. But that's where you really have to stay disciplined, and you got to stay true to your projects. And if you really believe in the projects, just block out the noise.
Okay. I do want to hear what projects. There's two types of projects I want to hear about you from. So let's start with, what are some like more less, we'll call them degen. What are some more degen plays that you are excited about right now? Some of these might be up and comers, or things that, they've not been around for a year, but they are just launching. What are some of those that you're excited about right now?
Okay, so number one, 100% on my list, and they have an amazing, amazing community. I'm not sure if you're in there or if you've heard of them, but Cronos Nodes. All right, so they're the second mover on the Cronos chain. Cronodes was the first mover on the chain, and they made me really, really good money. I bought in really early when it was like $2-3, and you needed 20 CRN tokens. And I was able to purchase some really good nodes, got my risk off the table, and just kept cashing out, kind of thing. Of course, they're experiencing a lot of what the current overall market is experiencing right now. But when I heard about Cronos nodes, I was like, oh, it's, kind of like Cronos, right? But it's not whatsoever. Their developers, their projects, the things they're trying to do is really quite jaw-dropping. So Cronos is going to release as a node, not a node as a service, a DeFi as a service. Okay, so yes, you're creating nodes, but they're more of a DeFi as a service. But then they're also releasing kind of like NFTs as well. So that's two projects alone that we've seen other projects just deploy in itself. Then they're trying to create their own DEX. So they're creating CroSwap, and they want to be a major player on the Cronos chain for a DEX. So they want to be like a Pancake Swap on Binance, or a Joe Swap on Avalanche. And so they're releasing their own DEX called CrowSwap. And even in CrowSwap, all the things they're trying to release inside of that DEX alone, again, is a project in itself. They're releasing, obviously, the ability to trade on the DEX. They're releasing their harbors, their staking, their farming. They're creating their own, their own Oracle. So it's whoever's funding Chronos nodes, they really believe in it because they are releasing Chronos nodes and they're releasing their own DEX. And those two in itself is an absolute powerhouse. I'm part of their Discord, and that community is very, it's a really, really good community.
Okay, Chronos nodes, nice. Okay, I think they've reached out to me, and you know, there's been so many node projects where you start to just kind of go, oh, whatever. But I'll have to maybe rethink that. So
no, check them out. Check them out for sure. I've done my research. I've kind of felt the same way. It's like, okay, well, nodes as a service or DeFi as a service, where we've seen Thor, we've seen Comb. Those companies and those projects are alive right now, but obviously they're experiencing the whole market downtrend, right? But the way Chronos Nodes is really trying to approach this is they're trying to approach the fact that they can have revenue coming in instantly, whether that's the ecosystem that they're creating with the DEX, as well as the NFTs and the nodes itself. So really exciting stuff there. What about you?
Well, I'm really excited. Spear Finance is actually launching today. So that's a big one that I really like. Elephant .money, and so Spear is kind of a fork, but they're doing things a little bit differently. And then there's been somebody asked about this. Let me scroll up. Somebody asked about this COTPS bot. I don't know if people have been asking you about that, but I mean, it doesn't look, I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'll probably do a video on it sometime, but it's like so degen, where you start to like, do I even want people to see what this is? Like, do I want to promote this at all? But essentially it's a trading bot. I'll show you guys what it looks like. It's a trading bot that you put in money. Whoops. And then let me get rid of this taskbar here. But you put in money, and then you are getting like arbitrage. And it's been making me, I have $2,000 in there, and it's been making me, I made $70 yesterday on it.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And it's just clicking this button when your wallet balance goes back up, and it just does like these arbitrage sales. And for some reason, it's all the rage. Everybody's been asking about it. And so I just put in 2K, and I'm trying it out. So I can't recommend it because I don't totally understand what it's doing or anything like that. But that's how the best degen plays are. It's like
correct. I wanted to touch on that because that's where I started learning about the current projects I have now, is just keeping an open mind, right? When I was in SafeMoon at the time, the projects Drip, Strong, and I think there was something else. I think it was Tomb Finance. This was released in one of the Twitter spaces, and someone said that they're making a lot of money, and no one batted an eye in there. But I did. I looked. I was like, well, what's this, right? So I started checking it out. I was like, what's Drip? Okay, 1% every single day. Very cool. What's Strong? Wow, you're purchasing nodes and it's just paying you. That's really cool too. And so it's simple exchanges like this where someone's like, hey, have you heard about OTC? A COTPS bot? I was like, no, I haven't, but now I will look into it, right? Because that's the best way to do it. You have to take things with an open mind, and then of course that's where the whole, I believe, the skill comes in, where you have to be able to do your own research, do your own due diligence, and if it's something that you think you can make money on, put money. Like as a day trader, you have to risk, do your risks accordingly. You can't just ape into it and put your life savings into a degen play, knowing that it's DeFi, right? Anything can happen. So
yes.
Use your risk accordingly.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to show, I don't know if you've seen this, but so I kind of have like my investments broken into these buckets. And so like I kind of have the riskier ones over here on the right. And then what I do is I use the riskier ones and these high returns to fund safer things. And this is kind of how like my philosophy around it. So like this COTPS bot that's making 3% a day is a degen play. Like I don't know if it's going to be there in 3 months, but I'm going to take the $70 a day I'm making and maybe move it into a DeFi play, which is still risky, but not as risky as these crazy things. And so that's where I'd put like Drip. and maybe you would have Seifu in there. What are some
Correct.
of those that would be in this bucket here that would not be Degen, but are maybe a little bit more stable, but still not, maybe not quite as safe as this bucket here?
Yeah. Yeah. So on your column H, let me see what I would have in there. I would have for sure drip. Drip is tried and true. No one can argue that it's been around since April of last year and has yet to have to mint tokens. They didn't even have to trigger that part of their protocol yet. So obviously it's found a sustainable method. And for those that got in a drip early last year, all those whales would have sold out by now because of the 365%. So drip 100%. I still believe in obviously strong block. I'm just taking my payments from strong block once a month. I do have obviously Seifu in there. That's my number one performing portfolio. And so let me open my Seifu just so I can kind of get a good grasp for you here. Finance, smart chain. Okay. Account. Yeah. So Seifu right now is, and I always say this for inspiration purposes only, right? Because it's important to let people know that this is possible in the DeFi space. This isn't like a flex, but we're here. I don't want to speak on behalf of you, James, but I'm here to help inspire other people to be able to hopefully quit their 9 to 5, break those corporate chains of 9 to 5, be able to do what you want with your life. And DeFi has allowed both of us to really be able to do that. And Seifu right now is paying me $4,169 a day. So it's an absolute monster of a project and a protocol. And I initially invested 16,000 in there. And so it's really, really done very well for me. It's treated me very nicely. And it's only been 2 months. They just had their 2-month anniversary birthday sort of thing. So I think they have a long successful road ahead of them. They just created their racing team, which I'm going to be part of. I'm going to be vlogging it. So I got invited to the UK. And you did an AMA with Brian, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. After the CerTic audit, I just wanted to give him like a chance to, clear the air and all that. And yeah, it was fun talking to him.
Yeah. The CerTic audit, obviously, I don't want to put too much light into that. That was just an interesting whole situation that happened. It was really, really, really interesting. If you think about it from from an unbiased point of view, and you look at it as a professional investor and a professional company, it's interesting what CerTic did. And this is just, of course, my opinion with the whole thing, because if CerTic is supposed to be unbiased in terms of who and what they review and audit, if they had an issue with the code of any project, not just Seifu, of any project, if I was a CEO or if I was a developer of that and you were the project reaching out to me, I would reach back out to you, James. I'd be like, hey, James, can you explain line blah, blah, blah of this code? I wouldn't go straight to Twitter and tweet and go public with the issues I have. I think that's where I lost a lot of respect. And that's where I lost a lot of, it's just an eyebrow raiser. If you're a professional company, an unbiased company, you would reach out to the owner of the company, of the project, the CEO, and not go straight to Twitter and go public with it. It just was very an odd way to handle that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think sometimes if somebody from CerTic's on here, I'm sorry, but sometimes you get in kind of panic mode where it's like, oh, we put the stamp of approval on this company, and then now we see a red flag, and so then you like want to distance yourself as quickly as you can in case something, if you've put your stamp of approval and then they end up rug pulling, you're done as an auditing company. It's going to be the end. And so I think they just wanted to panic mode. Hey, we got to distance ourselves in case something bad happens here. And then, not realizing, well, hey, that's going to put, a lot of backlash on the project that you might have been able to solve more amicably.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, no. So in terms of like my number one performing, it's hands down Seifu. It's been absolutely insane for me. Like $4,169 a day. If I wanted to just live off this, I can, as long as the project continues to survive, right? That's amazing, life-changing money for a lot of people. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I have I put $2,500 in Seifu, but it sounds like maybe I need to put in more. What it sounds like. So for this DeFi bucket, it sounds like we were both in agreement. Drip. I would probably put strong in there maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Strong right now is in there. If we're talking about the crypto J curve, where it went through phase one, the initial hype, and then it died down on phase two, where it's kind of like flatlining a little bit. I would say strong right now is in that phase two, where they're developing, they're trying to push through and launch their strong chain, and then eventually we'll see that phase three where it starts to really rocket and moon, and projects get built on top of the strong chain. Right now, it's earning okay, right? Like I said, I maybe took a $2,500 payday once for the month of April from my 20 nodes in Strong Block. But yeah, Drip 100% is my second play. So Drip and Seifu together has been already life-changing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then other things I would put on there, and I put a link to my video, my top 10 projects, but EMP.money is, I really like the Tomb forks. And so that one's tied to the price of Ethereum. So, you know, if Ethereum crashes, that might not be the best play, but while it's, you know, Ethereum and Bitcoin have basically just been going flat for quite a while, and I expect they will go up. So EMP.money I really like, Bomb.money I really like. Great Finance is a Tomb fork that's pegged to a stable coin. So that's really fun because it's a stable coin, you know, it's pegged to MIM. And then I like Elephant Money, which is kind of similar to Drip, a similar feel. Spear Finance coming out. But let's move over one other column. So these are ones that I would consider more like a savings account, where they're safer plays, where it's like, okay, I'm, you know, getting my DeFi and Degen plays that could go away. You know, like Titano is one that was in my DeFi play. It was making me $400 a day, and then now it's making $60 a day, and it just kind of is what it is. So what would you have in your bucket for these like safer plays as you work your way up this way?
Yeah, so column G, I have the same exact thing as you do. So it's funny. It really is funny because I did release, I don't know if it was my last video or a second video, but how I allocate my funds. And it's very, very similar to yours, right? You take your riskier plays, your degen plays that you make money, and you put it into something more stable. And of course, stable is subjective, whatever you think is stable, because Bitcoin can still be volatile for some people. But I do the same thing, right? So after I take column I and column H, I go ahead and put it into more long-term projects that I believe in. In this case, it would be Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. Also, my boy Stone Pipes, I did an interview with him. He's one of like the Twitter influencers. Guy is an absolute monster, James. I don't know if you've seen him. He makes like, I don't know if well, he's officially tweeted it, so I don't think he minds, but I did the math on all the nodes he had at the time, and he was making like 800,000 a month. The guy's an absolute monster. And that inspires me to be like, okay, I need to do something like that. Like, what else can I do to get to Stonepipe's level? But he showed me Constellation DAG. Have you heard of Constellation DAG? Okay,
Oh
yeah.
yes, oh yes.
Yeah. So I have made it a point to take a lot of my column I and column H and really fund my Constellation DAG for this month. And I want to be able to have the 250,000 DAG tokens to make a soft node, because there's a lot of word around that they're getting ready to launch in their mainnet. So Constellation DAG, which is a layer 0, if people don't know about it, it's really incredible what they're trying to do. There is a YouTube video out there that explains Constellation DAG in 15 minutes. And so it's a lot to absorb. But when you watch that video, you just get really bullish on it. I've watched it maybe 3 or 4 times, and I just wanted to load more Constellation in there. I also absolutely have yield nodes. A lot of my Bitcoin is in a hardware wallet, is in a cold storage, but I don't like all of it just sitting there doing nothing, right? So I allocate some into yield nodes, and that has been a consistent beast in its own. I mean, what did it pay out last? It was like 7.8% or 7.2%.
Yeah, I think for April ended up being 8.2%, I think.
Yeah,
So it was over
on your Bitcoin,
8%.
which is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, and then I'm not a part of Anchor Protocol. I hear really, really good things about Anchor Protocol, but column E, yeah, I have some real estate. I have some rental portfolios in the Carolinas as well as Chicago. I would like to really expand more into commercial real estate. And so eventually when column I, H, and maybe G can pay for a nice commercial property. My girlfriend is a cosmetologist, and she would love to own her own kind of like suite where her own salon where she can rent out the suite. So it'd be cool to knock out two birds with one stone, where she gets her suite and I can own the building kind of thing. But yeah, that's down the road. So that I follow kind of like the same blueprint as you do. I just am trash when it comes to Excel. I don't have anything in Excel like you do. You have everything down to science. Mine's all in my head. Like I think I have X amount in this and B in this, but yeah, you have yours very nicely laid out.
Well, I do that just for my videos. It's not this well laid out until I make a video on it. So yeah, it sounds like we're very like-minded on that. So yeah, yield nodes, for those of you who aren't familiar, it's been making 8% a day for 30 months now. So that's like a crazy history in DeFi, and that's a crazy return. And then Zion Financial is one that I have been using. Zion Finance is one that I've been using, kind of similar to yield nodes. They get their return from precious metal, crypto, real estate, and it's similar return to yield nodes. So I kind of use that in this bucket. Yep. One that I just did a video on, just did an interview with them, was a BTC Proxy, which is very interesting. It's basically, now some people are uncomfortable because you're giving custodianship of your Bitcoin to a third party, which in some ways defeats the purpose of Bitcoin in some ways, but it's getting 115% APY on Bitcoin. So like for me, I don't have it all here, but I was holding on to 2 Bitcoin or so, and it was making nothing. And so then I was like, and when Bitcoin, the price was going up, I was okay with that. But as it's been down, I'm kind of like, man, that's like, $100,000 that's just sitting there, not making a return. And but the Degen in me goes to something like this. And then as I work my way this way along, I just wanted to show people this. So I have 4, these are DCA bots on KuCoin, where it's basically I'm buying $500 of Bitcoin every day. I'm buying $250 of DAG every day, which is Constellation, what you were talking about. I buy $250 of Flux every day. And then I actually added another DAG. From talking to Stonepipes, I was like, I'm going to buy more DAG. So I have a second DAG bot running. And of course, they're down right now, except for Flux is actually way up. But I actually like the price of DAG to go down because it's 250,000 tokens to get a node. Yep. And that is like $30,000.
Did you see how many soft nodes Stonepipes has?
How many does he have now?
6 soft nodes. The dude is a monster.
Yeah, he is. I'm in a chat with him and Crypto Sensei, and they're like, yeah, I got my 5th DAG node set up today, and I'm like, well,
here we are. We're like, let's get our first one, James. Let's get our first one.
Well, and I have my journey to 10K a day in passive income, and I remember Crypto Sensei telling me, oh yeah, once you hit your $100,000 days, that's when it gets really crazy. It's like, oh, okay, that'll be my next
$100,000 days. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And they've all been big into these NFTs recently, which I haven't gotten much into. Yeah, like Moonbirds, they were all minting Moonbirds, and I was like, I don't.
I will say I'm very weak when it comes to NFTs and metaverse. In terms of like, let's say we're talking DeFi space in general, metaverse and NFTs, that's a weaker area for me for sure. But yeah, I mean, if they're making a killing on it, it's maybe some time for me to start immersing myself a little bit in it and see if we can make something happen.
I mean, yeah, these were selling for $300,000 a piece, and I just don't get it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
300,000 for that owl?
Yeah, it's like these owls. Like, I just don't. It's not the right space for me.
But hey, I mean, if they're making 300,000 an owl, maybe it is something that you and me should definitely start looking into.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe I'll venture into that. Let's see. People are asking for a link for Constellation.
Yeah, let me see
if I can find a link. I have an AMA coming up with the founder of Constellation, so I'm really excited about that. It was really hard to work into his schedule, but
yeah, he's very smart. I've listened to a whole bunch of his talking points, and he's very smart. That's awesome that you got to land that. I was trying to land one with Strongblock with David Moss, and they're just so tough.
Yeah,
recently.
it's very hard to get in touch with him. But you know, one thing, so for people, do look into Constellation DAG. Like, I think it's not going to be a passive income for
For sure.
now. It's
For now.
not
Yeah.
going to make, you know, it's going to be in, oh, I closed my browser. It's going to be in these buckets here where you're not going to make much of a return for now.
For
In
now.
fact, you
Yeah.
might lose money. If you saw my trading bots, I've lost money on all my DAG bots, but it's a long-term play. So I'm looking ahead 10 years. They have a
Mhm.
contract with the Department of Defense.
Yep.
So when you get the U.S. government involved, then you know it's not going anywhere because they have unlimited amount of money.
Yeah.
So that's a long-term play for sure. And same with Flux. I'm looking at that as a long-term play. I want to get a few Flux nodes going, and that's
Yeah.
kind of a longer-term play.
Your friend Andy really loves those flex nodes.
He does. That's what got me onto it. I told him, if you try some of my Degen plays, I will try some of your Flex nodes. And so,
Have you looked into pre-search?
yes, yeah, I'm not totally sold on it. He might convince me though. If you're also in on it, maybe you know, it's so cheap right now
So
too.
cheap. You can get a pre-search node. I just added one, and I'm going to add probably another 5 or so today. You can get one for $266. And it's one of those where, just like Andy had said, right, when he was purchasing Flux nodes, they were making him nothing, and then boom, it mooned, right? And everything that he was sitting on was eventually worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And pre-search, I feel like, is going to eventually do the same thing because they're about to go live with their mainnet as well. And so as of right now, you're earning close to nothing. But if you know pre-search continues its partnership with all these companies, I saw that Europe Android phones is going to come built in with pre-search. So that's a piece of news that made me really bullish on it. And because it's so cheap, putting in 5, maybe 10 pre-search nodes would be close to nothing in terms of what you and I have been kind of investing in terms of other plays. And so this is one that I actually heavily use in my personal life, where I just have pre-search installed on all my mobile phones and all my laptops. I use pre-search 100%. So
Okay.
$266, you can't beat that to build a node.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Well, I just added a task to get a pre-search node. So
And
that is
it's nice.
going.
You can purchase it straight from KuCoin. So
Okay. Yes. And then somebody was asking where to get DAG too, and also the same thing. You can just go buy it on KuCoin.
yep.
That's where my bots are at that are just VCA. And for me, like $30,000 when the price is so fluctuating on DAG, it didn't make sense for me to go hop in there and just buy $30,000 worth of DAG. So I'd rather dollar cost average in
Yeah,
just to make
that's what
sure I'm
I'm
not
doing.
getting the bottom, not getting the top, just kind of buy it at whatever it's at. And I'm probably going to do that beyond one node. Like, I'll just keep going. And
Yeah, the room for the upside for DAG is really, really there. I really believe in their team, right? Same thing what we're talking about. You know, I believe in the Constellation team, and I believe in what they're about to do, layer 0, as well as what they're trying to solve. And like you said, the military contract, right?
yeah, absolutely.
I wish, and I think it's eventually going to happen, but I wish that they partnered with a hardware wallet so I can get myself off of KuCoin and onto their Stargazer wallet. But at this moment, I do the same thing you do. I hold mine in KuCoin because I don't want it anywhere where it's a hot wallet. So
Yeah. Well, and I found so often I'm needing new coins, and KuCoin is just a good hub for me
mhm.
to move everything around to where I want it. I was nervous. They had that KuCoin exploit a couple months ago. I don't know if you saw
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I shouldn't keep. So I try to get it off when I can, but
Yeah.
it's a good hub just since they have access to everything.
I agree.
Yeah. So, well, I can't stay too much longer. I'm supposed to get lunch with somebody here at 12 p.m.
Oh,
Central Time. I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska. Does anybody have any questions, anything that they would like us to chat about before we go? I feel pretty good. I feel like I got a good gauge. You made me more bullish on Seifu. Um, and
on those
Brian
notes.
is a smart guy for sure. Uh,
Yeah, he's a master in marketing. I think that's where he really excels, right? And he's moving lightning speeds. You know, the racing team within 2 months since ICO, and now he's talking about you know the airlines that's going to fly all around. What did he say? Australia at first, And then he already applied for citizenship in Satoshi Island, looking to headquarters Seifu in Satoshi Island. He's got a whole bunch of crazy things. He's given away a Tesla this month. So, I mean, he's been doing a lot of crazy things, and I really do believe in what he's trying to do in terms of marketing Seifu in the general world that isn't DeFi. Yeah. I think his goal is eventually a Formula One too, which would be
well, and that's what I like about him, is that he's doing he's doing things other people aren't doing. So I'm tired of forks that are just like the exact same thing, not doing anything different. And so that's what I like about Seifu. Somebody's asking if I hold Seifu. I do. I have 15 Seifu, so I don't, not a ton. I was in kind of late too. Personally, I'm not big on the auto compound projects, just because Seifu might be a little different because of how crazy they're going with their marketing and stuff. And Brian is like just doing some really unique things. But I don't like when people are holding so many tokens and can just sell whenever. Because that's what we saw with Titano here, is people were holding on to too much. And then when they're ready to dump, it can dump really hard.
Yeah, well, to give you a little bit more confidence in that, that's why he has the fire pit protocol, which combats the minting of the tokens. The fire pit, as that continues to grow, and that was the major issue that Certic had with it, was the fire pit, which was a regular wallet, but it had to be a regular wallet so that it could collect rebases as well, so that it can eat circulating supply to combat the minting of tokens, right? And that's why it's a little different than your other auto staking like Libero and Titano and stuff like that. And someone did mention, I completely forgot. Yeah, he's already funded. He took money out of the treasury, Brian did, to fund and start the process to create the Seifu blockchain. So I mean, you know, he doesn't mess around. And I like his answer in one of his AMAs where he's like, well, what are you trying to do already? Because Brian already has money. So they're like, what are you trying to do here? And he's like, my goal is to print millionaires. And I think he really is trying to do that, right? He's already got money. He's here to make a statement, kind of like what Forex is doing, right? Forex doesn't need to continue doing this stuff. I mean, the whole animal farm and stuff like that, but he's here to make a statement as well. He likes doing it. And those are leaders I can get behind. And those are projects I can definitely believe in. So
yeah, totally agree. People are asking about Drip Garden. Once they get all the animal farm stuff worked out, hopefully this week, I've got 16K that's just sitting there paused in the animal farm. And so I'm looking forward to that all working out. I think Piggy Bank will be good support for the Drip protocol as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a different story in itself, because I do have my whole Drip and animal farm ecosystem going around as well. So yeah, once that unlocks, that'll be a good one to get back into.
Yep. And then a couple other people are asking about, I don't know, are you familiar with Piston Token? So that's Piston Token is it's kind of a Drip fork a little bit. So it's kind of the same idea, but you can Nitro, which is recompound, or you can claim out. So it's kind of the same idea as Drip. You can see I do have a bid in there. I have like $3,000 in there. I'm not super big on it. I do have an AMA with the team. Sometimes after those, I get more bullish on things.
Yeah. No, I saw Piston from Crypto Talk, the other content creator, and he was the one that really got me into Drip. When I saw a lot of his videos, he was making he was printing like $10,000 to $20,000 a day from Drip. But obviously he's been there for a long time compounding, and I was like, okay, this is really where the power comes in, and that is my goal, is to have what Crypto Talk had. So I think he did pitch Piston one time, but at the time when I saw it, I didn't want to over leverage myself too wide, right? I already had Drip, which was already a tried and true for me. But if people are really recommending it, and you have, I'll probably tune into your AMA and see what they say, if they make me more bullish as well. But I'll take a look at them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, forks are so easy to do, where it's hard to know, like, are you gonna do anything different, or is it just, we had Splassive, which had the big hack, the big exploit. So Drip's been around for so long, where it's hard to, it's hard to not just hop into that. Like, that's the OG.
It really is. And the whole the whole partnerships that they're doing and the UI upgrade, I think Drip is definitely well overdue for a UI upgrade. And so that's going to look amazing once they overhaul the UI on Drip and Animal Farm. The Chainlink partnerships, the Pancake Swap partnerships with Drip, you just can't deny that it is the tried and true protocol for the 1% compounding. And people, I know people feel like they're late into these kinds of projects, but they have to realize that whatever you put in, of course, it's based on the value of the token, but whatever you put in will still be making 1% compounded. So I'm a believer of them. I'm a believer of Forex. He's here to make a statement in the DeFi space.
Yeah, and one thing I want to show about Drip, let me just bring this up real quick because I just thought this was interesting because people have been talking about, oh, the price is way down, which, you know, it is hurt. And if you look at this chart, that's not really what you want to see. But if you look at this chart, like people who got in November, October, you know, they've just been making this 1% through this whole time. And now they're like, if you did some of my spreadsheets about like, what are you going to look like in 6 months if you use Drip? Those spreadsheets are like dead on for where we're at right now. If you started in October, you're exactly where those spreadsheets said you would be, making 1% a day.
Yeah.
Now, if you bought here, then yes, you're not necessarily as happy. But who knows? I mean, Forex just announced today that he's working with a crypto YouTuber out of China to discuss getting Chinese investors into Drip. I mean, there's a lot of Chinese investors.
Yeah.
He says that they're working to push the new UI right now, so they got some big things coming on. So
yeah, that's amazing, and their partnership with BetFury as well. So I think there's a lot going on here, and what people don't understand is if you look at this graph with the Drip and you just treated it as like a Dogecoin, a buy and hold, you would be down or you'd be break even. But the power comes in with the 1% compounding. Even if you bought in, let's say I'm looking at your thing here, let's say around December, right, when it started to initially start to spike, and you just kept compounding, wrote it up, and it's down now, you would still either be up or break even, as opposed to a normal traditional buy and hold. You would just be either break even or down now. So
yeah, no, totally true. It'd be cool to make a chart. Maybe I'll do a spreadsheet of price action with the 1%, you know, and kind of see where, because there is a portion of people who are going to be down in Drip. But again, we don't know what Drip's going to do in the future. Like there's a big chance it could go back up. I mean, there's a chance it could go down too. We don't know exactly, but
yeah.
Looks like this guy's real happy with Drip. Drip go to 0. Hell.
Gotta love the internet trolls.
Well, as we close up here, I'm heading out to lunch. What videos do you have coming up? What's on your agenda here in the short-term future?
In the agenda, I'm not too happy with the crypto.com card slashing. The reason I say that is because I use crypto.com heavily in terms of how I take profits in the DeFi space. It's so easy to, let's say, take profits from Seifu or Drip, convert it to Binance, send it to crypto.com, and either top up my card or transfer it to fiat. So I use crypto.com heavily in terms of on-ramp, off-ramp. I use KuCoin for a lot more exchanges in DeFi spaces for like pre-search and stronger, and DAG and stuff like that. But crypto.com I use heavily, and I do have their Indigo Blue card. So when they slashed those rewards, I was like, God, that's not cool. But they did release, I think the CEO did release something that they are looking to implement the staking rewards back, which lessens the blow. I think they did too much all at once, and there was really a lot of negative blowback from that. So I'll probably cover that video and try and ease people's minds, because I'm definitely not happy about it, because like I said, it's easy to take profits from Seifu or Drip or Strong or all the other plays that we're talking about, send it to crypto.com and top up my card and spend it on like Chipotle or something, right? But it becomes a different story when that card is no longer viable. So I'll have to reevaluate after all of this, but I'll probably be creating a crypto.com card. But yeah, what about you? You're stacked with AMAs, man.
I know. Well, I'm trying to do the AMAs as lives and then recorded content more. We do have a lot of people asking about this. I wondered how people were going to react to this COT PS bot thing.
I need to look into that.
Yeah, I might do a video on how. So basically, you can when you come in here, you go to mine and you can recharge and deposit USDT on TRC20. So there's no fees basically.
Yeah.
And then you just have to, every 2 hours, you come in here and just click this button. And I actually have a script that's running that automatically clicks this button every 2 hours. So I
Nice.
might do a video just showing how I set that up, but extremely degen. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the most in that right column on my spreadsheet that you could possibly be. And I've only been in it for 1 day. Okay. So, but I know
But
people like,
you're able to cash out $70.
yep,
That'll pay
exactly.
for Chipotle.
So I'm doing that. Also, EMP Money just released straight Ethereum staking at a 76% APR, 100% APY. And that's just straight Ethereum you put in there and get 76% APR. So that's kind of unique. I've not seen anything else that you can do something like that. And somebody said that COTPS is a Ponzi. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. So I'll just make my money, get out. And I mean, honestly, I don't really care for the degen bucket. I don't really care if it's a Ponzi or not. Blueprint, what was that called? Blueprint for retiring. I don't really care for things that are making 40% a month. I don't necessarily care if they're a Ponzi because I'm not looking to be in it for a year. I'm looking to be in it for a month and a half and get my money out. That's how I look at these miners. The ones making 8% a day that we talked about earlier is if it's making 8% a day, I do not expect it to be there for a year.
For sure. Yeah, I'm part of one miner, and I don't even want to talk about it because it's like you said, it's just pure degen. And you tell people so many times, do your own research. Like this is a degen play, and yet they'll hop in on it without doing any research, and then you'll get the blowback. And so I don't even talk about my miner games at all.
Yeah, I did a video on here are 4 stakers that you could get into, and I had a lot of negative feedback. And one of them, did you ever see the Seinfeld staker? Where was that at? Seinfeld staker. I wonder if it's still going or if it died. But yeah, it's dead. Oh, see, that's the problem with them, right? Is they die. But it was like you could get a Jerry node, or it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely on these degen plays. Cot PS is probably a Ponzi. I mean, it would not surprise me. I've not researched them in depthly, but people were asking how you get involved. So there you go.
Yeah. You still have to hedge your risk properly, and that's the thing, right? And if I were to kind of talk about day trading and DeFi all in the same thing, day traders, they don't even know half the time. They don't know the stock they're trading, but it doesn't mean that they can't make money off of it. They trade penny stocks all the time. Those are super risky, but they can make money off of it. Same with the degen plays. They are very risky, but it does not necessarily mean you cannot make money off of it, but you have to hedge your risk properly, right? You can't just ape into it. Just like a day trader can't just ape into a penny stock and hope that it rockets, but actually it just reverses on them and they lose everything. The key to this is your profit to risk to ratio profit, right? It has to be correct. I've seen day traders with like a 30% win rate, and they are still in the 6 figures, 7 figures because they know how to hedge their risk properly. They take their losses early and they take their profits when they want to. It's a skill that I think people really need to learn for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Well, hey, this was awesome, man. I appreciate you reaching out, and I appreciate you hopping on. I thought this was good. It's cool just to I think we're very like-minded on things, and so then that just kind of helps me be like, oh, okay, good. I'm going the right direction with the things I'm doing. So yes, I appreciate your time, man, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, James. Thanks you.
Yeah, and audience, we love you guys, and this would be way lamer. That's right, way more lame if you guys were not here. If it was just me and RJ, it'd still be fun.
It'd still be fun. We'd just be talking shop.
Yes, but it's nice to be able to talk with you guys and see your questions and what you're thinking up. So appreciate you guys, and hope everybody has a good rest of your day.